I get a lot of DMs, and I plan to start answering a lot of the frequently asked questions in videos. And one that I see quite often is about transfer addiction. Usually it's something like, what do you think about using THC? Or I quit drinking, and instead of just smoking 1 pack of cigarettes a day, I'm now smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. Or I notice where I'm gambling more, or I'm eating more. So you took away the alcohol, and now you're starting to see those same behaviors with other substances or activities or whatever it is. And I think when it comes to transfer addiction, if you're newly sober, listen up to this. I think it's all about preventative measures. And what that looks like is having an awareness. Because more than likely, if you had an unhealthy relationship with alcohol, you didn't have control over it, more than likely you have an addictive nature. So when you lose that alcohol, if you don't deal with those behaviors or whatever was behind it, if you don't kind of get to the root of it, it can easily manifest itself in something else. So that's why when someone asks me, what do you think about using THC? First of all, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Personally, I think it's the lesser of the two evils. I think it's a much better alternative than alcohol. But the only problem is, and I can say this for myself, I know that it would just be a matter of time before I would be abusing that as well. The same behavior would be there, which is the desire to escape. So I don't think I could just use it in moderation. I am aware of that about myself. So therefore, I am not going to mess with it because I don't want to find out the hard way what could happen and then have yet another addiction that I'd have to deal with. Because in my experience, I have never ever been someone who has been able to use any kind of substance in moderation. If it gives me that feeling of escape, you better believe I'm going to abuse it. And in knowing that about myself, I've had to deal with why is it that I want to escape, and also focus on building a life that I don't want to escape from. And transfer addiction can also manifest itself in other things: spending, gambling, food. I know at first when you quit drinking, the sugar cravings are unreal. And at first, you just kind of got to let it go and eat the sugar. But eventually, you do have to rein it in, because before you know it, you can have replaced alcohol with food, and that can affect your physical health, your weight, and then your self-esteem, your confidence. It can turn into another thing that you still have to deal with because you're still avoiding that thing, whatever it is, that made you want to drink. So if you're newly sober and you see yourself being pulled to something and you notice it's becoming a habitual thing, like over and over and over again, like it's something you're thinking about all the time, that's probably when you need to step back and assess it and ask yourself the question, is the addiction I had with alcohol, is it just transferring to this substance? And one thing that I saw when I first quit drinking was a caffeine addiction. And obviously, yes, I still drink coffee. I'm not a anti-caffeine by any means. But I saw where at first it was something that I was very pulled to, and I was drinking multiple energy drinks a day, a ton of diet soda with caffeine, a ton of coffee, because I don't know what it was. For some reason, I felt like I was being like rebellious because it was caffeine, but it wasn't like destroying me like alcohol was. But irregardless, it's not healthy. It's not good for my heart. It's not good for my body. So in the long run, am I kind of doing something to my health? Yes. So that's another thing I kind of had to rein in a little bit. Not totally get rid of it, but rein it in, just staying aware. I just don't ever want something to have the kind of control over me that alcohol did.